Hello and welcome to the Amateur Football YouTube channel with myself, Tabriz, and I have a very, very, very special guest. Probably the only person that's probably seen the worst of me on holiday. Guards, how you doing, sir?
Yes, not bad, mate. Not bad. How are you?
Yes, I'm well. Yes, I'm well.
Guardie's gone straight. It's a great tackle from Guardie.
For probably the two viewers out there who like do not know who you are, could you please tell those two people what you do?
Football, obviously, still a SE Dons player. It will be more the 11s now, but obviously still involved with the boys and watch the games and everything else like that, which is cool. Off the pitch, my personal life, which is a bit weird and a bit niche. Not a lot of people know this, but I'm a military surplus dealer. So British Army clothing, equipment, and vehicle parts, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, very different, but it's cool.
What's the mindset from like football becoming a passion to now it becoming a job? Because there's been a lot of interviews where footballers say, yeah, my job is to play football. It's not a passion.
Obviously, depending on what level you're at, you kind of can take it out of context. But obviously, if you're playing at the highest level or championship or League 1 or 2, even conference, I know some of the boys still at the Dons still get paid weekly, which is good. Do you know what I mean? But I think in terms of, I think you got to take it down to brackets and levels. Obviously, the higher you go, everyone knows the more you get paid, and it's sort of like a luxury, regardless if you enjoy football or not. You obviously still going to play because of what you're bringing in. Do you know what I mean? But if you're talking on a level where you're maybe, like, again, bring it back to Sunday football, because this is the platform that we're kind of in and around. It gets to a point where I know most non-league teams, you will train probably Tuesday, Thursday, play Saturday, obviously some Sunday football on Sunday. And it gets to a point where you don't want the manager to be screaming at you. You're not getting enough money for that. This doesn't make sense to be screamed at. You want to go training. You want to enjoy training. You don't want to start running around and doing doggies and whatever it is. You're not a greyhound. You know what I mean? You're, at the end of the day, you're putting out your time as well as theirs. Don't get me wrong, but you want to be in an environment where you're going to training, do a carpool. You've got 2 or 3 other boys in the car. Do you know what I mean? You get on with everybody and you go training knowing that you're going to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy going to football, even for me personally, that's why I kind of come away from Saturday football for a little bit. It's probably been maybe a season now, a year and a half. One, obviously with work and that sort of balance, when you get to a certain age, it's like, cool, you've been in and around it, you still stay fit, you still do gym. But sometimes you just got to take a back seat and think, like, is it for me for now? You can still play at a certain level, but like you say, your whole Saturday will be finished because you've got to get there early. You've got to set up, obviously, it's still a professional environment. But you just got to, like anything, you just got to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then you got to, I know it's tough. Like, no one really enjoys work. Don't get me wrong. Like, nobody enjoys going to work. If they do, then they've done very well. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, some people say, well, it pays the bills and blah, blah, blah. But I think life's really, really too short, especially with COVID in the last 18 months. I think it's opened a lot of people's eyes to the fact of, okay, yeah, it does pay my bills, but am I genuinely happy? I know it's pretty deep, but sometimes it takes things like this for people to realise, you know what, life is really short. Like, we're 7 months into the year already. Do you know what I mean? It's July.
Yep.
It's
crazy,
what,
bro.
4 or 5 months till Christmas. So
I
it's
know.
Really, literally. So it's like, you just got to sometimes take the hit, still do your thing. But as long as you're enjoying yourself, no one can really neg your attitude to what you want to do. Do you know what I mean? But as soon as you wake up and you think, oh, another day, it's pointless. Life for me is like, you just got to stop doing what you're doing, change your whole system up and find something that you are going to enjoy. Like, whatever it is, either football or work or whatever it is, whether it's the wrong club, the wrong manager, the wrong girlfriend, the wrong boyfriend, anything, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? You just got to find happiness within yourself, and stick with that kind of thing. That's me personally anyway. Talk today, just need to play, win, get out of this shithole. That's what I can say.
The word sacrifice, if you're playing football, if you're you know, someone like yourself who's a kind of businessman, entrepreneur, you know, an investor, the word sacrifice is, I don't know, I mean, like it's looked like a negative word. How can we change that word sacrifice into something positive?
Yeah, I think you've got to respect people that make sacrifice. I think that's the first and foremost of it. Say if we stick to football, obviously, like I said before in the last question, you're sacrificing your evenings. Most evenings, a lot of people got kids, you've got other jobs, you've got obviously girlfriends and whatever else. If you're sacrificing your Tuesday evenings, your Wednesday evenings, your Thursday evenings, whenever you have midweek games, your Saturday afternoons, people I know obviously doubling up in the gym, maybe didn't go out on a Saturday night when all their mates are because they know there's either a game on Sunday, especially being like Don related. That would be like the main point in this question. But come Saturday, I know I used to go out quite a lot on a Friday or a Thursday with like Ryan and a few other mates and stuff. But obviously, as you get older, you get other responsibilities, so you're kind of sacrificing that for that. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it was always a time where we was playing Saturday. You just knew you couldn't go out on a Friday. And was like, oh, it's not that important of a game. Like you basically, it's pretty much just like a friendly or it's pre-season. But then you sort of think to yourself, well, if I fall into that mindset, it's going to carry on, and your training's going to decrease. Your performances are going to lower. You're not going to start on a Saturday and you get moved on club to club to club, you know. So sacrifice is a big thing in any industry, but especially football. You see at the top level, obviously people stay behind after training and just keep themselves tidy in terms of even weird things like picking up the cones after you've done a little drill and just helping the coaching staff out and having that good rapport. It's all about you as a person and how it reflects on the selection come Saturday or Wednesday or Friday, whatever the game is. Even down to what you eat, what you drink. Like you can go out whenever, like I say, on an evening for a meal, and you think, oh, or obviously you can order food now on your phone and it's here within 20 minutes. So you think, oh, what, McDonald's is so easy. But then you've trained all week for what? To eat a quarter pounder to feel like a mess the next day, you know? So yeah. You got to take it seriously, but no matter what level you're at. If you, like I say, you are what you eat, and that's cliche. But if you start eating rubbish and drinking rubbish, don't get me wrong. There's a few other occasions you've done it. I've seen you. Where you're drinking a bit more than you should. But I mean, they're the odd occasions. You know, you can sometimes let your hair down. I'm not saying like you can't never do it, but you know, at the elite level, I know it's a bit different because they got like, personal chefs and they got diet plans. But you can also do that. There's so much stuff available online. Excuses if you want at any level to not be able to replicate what the top players are doing. Do you know what I mean? So that for me is sacrifice. You've got to respect it. If someone says, "Oh, I'm not coming out," you can't be like, "Well, stop being stupid. You're only playing, I don't know, Kent Prem, or you're playing Sunday football." If that's what they want to do, then you got to respect their decision and back them and not make a negative point of what they're trying to achieve.
How easy was it for you to sacrifice certain things within your business life than it was in your football life?
I think if you take your personal life away from football, you kind of get used to a routine. Like I say, you would train on a Tuesday. I'm quite a routine guy anyway, so I think it's quite nice to be regimented in that sense. Like I go gym, I go work, I take the dog for a walk, and it's kind of like scheduled. So I know where my head's at mentally. I know, right, I need to be back kind of for this time to sort this out. And it's just always stuck with me. I think it's just come from my dad, really. My dad was always like a routine guy, so I picked it up from him. I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm not saying that I'm like 24/7, like, oh, I need to shower at 9 and brush my teeth at 8. It's not like that. It's just like, I think for me, this helps me cope. But if you take that into my work life, when I first started doing what I was doing, it was like, it was new to me. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Driving all over the place, like researching stuff and thinking, well, how am I going to make this work? And you just learn on the job. Do you know what I mean? And especially when you're working for yourself, you know, if it doesn't work, you've tried, but I don't like failing. So whatever I set out to do, I want to make it work, whether it's very good or okay. I don't want to fail at anything. So sacrifice in terms of, I don't know, it would come out of context. You just, if you know that someone's got a bit of stock that you need, you can drive however far it is to pick it up, knowing you're going to make a little bit of change off it, you know, and it just, you get that customer relation, you do some markets. I started off doing boot fairs, and you get obviously contacts through there, and then you just build up gradually, and like anything, you just get more comfortable knowing your surroundings, the people that you need to speak to, people you need to stay away from, people you need to not tell too much to. Do you know what I mean? It just gets like that. So it's kind of an age-related thing as well. I think you just get older and more mature, especially as you're working for yourself. Like, you know, you can fail. Don't get me wrong. You can always just get a job, I suppose. But if you want to stay working for yourself, you've got to diversify into other things to make sure if one fails, you've got a backup to cover you for something else, you know? So for me, that's how I've always looked at it anyway. So I'm just going to hopefully continue to do that sort of thing to cover myself. So if A breaks down, I've still got B, C, D, E, do you know what I mean, to work through.
Cup game starts today, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? We go after all the belts, all the competitions, all the trophies.
And you could have mentioned it briefly in terms of like people that you can confide in and like people that you trust, and you know, like the people that you don't trust. How important is it to kind of keep your friendships and your family circle close and tight?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, because I think it comes up quite a lot, especially in my experience through football. It's like you have the ability, you know, you can play, you're confident in yourself. Your family, obviously, they'd always support you regardless of what you do. They're always your biggest fans, you know. Your family, your friends are always there at your games, regardless of what level it is, or like I say, what type of game it is. But to keep them close is the main thing, because you could always get like injuries, and they're always the first one to support you morally and mentally and whatever else. In terms of management side of things, it's difficult. You need to keep your friends and family in, like you say, in one group, and then you've got your football and coaches in another group. Because for me, I've learned that a coach to the face might say good things about you, and then off the field, he will say something else, you know? And then come Saturday, you're thinking, well, you've just said this to me in training, but yet come Saturday, I'm not playing. What's the problem? And then when you pull them up about it, it's like, oh, no, it's not that. It's just not your type of game, or we're going for a different system, or whatever it is. But it happens quite a lot, and that's why it got quite frustrating for me, because I'm a technical player. Like, you know, watching the games, I've never really been that physical sort of Roy Keane rattle tackle. It's always been like, give me the ball, I'll keep the ball for you. Maybe you're saying I should have added to my game. Don't get me wrong. I know that. I've been told by a lot of coaches. But sometimes you're just happy with what your ability is. So you just always need to kind of learn who to say certain things to, and who you can trust in terms of, I don't know, opinions, you know. You can always go to your friends and family and say, right, what do you think of me today? They're honest with you, you know. But I think some coaches in football will just sugarcoat it just to make you hear what you want to hear. So it's like, cool, come training, we're just going to go around in circle again, you know. But I know for sure that your friends and family would, especially my brothers, would just say you were terrible today, or it wasn't good enough today, which is good. You need that, you know what I mean? It's not like a disrespectful thing. It's just like, it's an honest opinion. But you just need that circle tight just to keep you where you need to be. And it's just like, everyone needs a good circle of friends and family, you know, because it's the best thing.
Do you think, and again, you know, this like could be related to football or like also to your business, do you think it's ever healthy taking your football or work home to actually talk to family or friends?
Yeah, I think for me, if you're talking on a personal level, when I obviously started doing what I'm doing, being self-employed, you can almost go to training and go to games and relax it, knowing that you're doing things for yourself, if that makes sense. You're not worried about, Monday's coming, it's going to be another, I don't know, obviously I'll get up early anyway, but it's like I said to you before in the other questions, it's like you need to do something you enjoy. If you don't, then you need to kind of rethink about what you're doing and change it up a little bit. For me, I'm enjoying it. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but like you say, you just get to know what you're doing, and if you're self-employed, you can do things when you want, you know. Work life and football, I think obviously, if you've had a good game, you want to come home, you want to talk about it, you want to brag. Oh, did you see my pass? Did you see my goal? Did you see my tackle? That's just normal.
Yeah.
That's just like,
Yeah, that's normal. Yeah,
that's normal. But if there's an issue at work or with customers or whatever it is, work related, I think come football, it's your time to kind of try and block it out. Be at football, enjoy being around that group of players and people that are watching, and respect them for coming and paying money to watch the game. And then when you get home again, it's up to you. Like, you can keep it inside and try and block it out, go again Monday. But it's easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know a lot of people struggle to mentally block out things that are happening in their private life come game time. You can see it in their performance and the way they're acting, their attitude. For me, I perform better if I could always go to football knowing I've done, my orders have been sent out, my emails have been done, the dog's been walked. It sounds really weird, but I'm kind of like that. I go back to the regimental side of things. It's like, if I know I've ticked off my boxes in the morning, come Saturday or Sunday, whenever I'm playing, even goals in the Wednesday, it's like you can relax. Do you know what I mean? You get picked up by your mate. You're like, okay, cool. I'm with the boys now. I'm playing football. There's nothing else to worry about. Do your thing, play well, and then on the way home, then you can either start thinking about, all right, I need to sort this out again now. But while you're out for an hour and a half playing football, it should just be about football and nothing else.
Yeah. No, facts. Love that. We've kind of spoken about football and from the playing at semi-pro, and again, I just want to go on camera and saying, you remind me of Busquets. Like, that's literally how you play. Like, you just keep things ticking, and like watching Busquets play, I'm thinking, well, Guard's has got exactly the same talent and ability. Why isn't Guard's at Busquets level? So like, it's kind of one of those things. And again, like, please, like, be honest and open. I mean, what was I'd say the moment where, like, you thought, okay, you know what? I'm not going to turn pro. It's time for me to give up on this dream. And, and again, like, to like other people who are looking to turn pro, and again, this like could be a loaded question, but when do you think it's time for those people to give up dreaming about playing pro football?
No, it's a good question, and we could talk about this for a long, long time. Like, it could be a whole evening talking about this, because there's so many factors. For me personally, if you're asking me personally this question, if you want to go back, obviously I started my first real, I'd say, breakthrough. Obviously, I went to Palestine when I was 14, 15, I think I was. But that Colin Omogbehin that has Junior Elite Academy, everyone knows him. He's just a legend, basically. The loveliest guy, the best coach I've ever worked with. Technically amazing, just an all-round, like a proper man, proper man in football. I think he's at Fulham now, and he full-time, which shows how good a coach he is and how good a setup Junior Elite is, which is still running now. So I kind of went Junior Elite first with him. I met him at school, so I went Northbrook, and he was like a mentor there. So I was playing, I think it was year 9, and I was playing for the year 11 team, and then a lot of the boys there was like, oh, to him, like, sir, you need to come watch him, kind of thing. He's a really good player, blah, blah, blah. So went training with them guys. Obviously signed for Junior Elite, was there for 2 or 3 seasons, and then Colin got involved with Palace, took me and a few boys down to Palace. It was almost like a filter system, like a feeder club. And then it kind of started getting a little bit sour, almost, because Colin brought me in. For me personally, at the time, you're so young and naive, you don't really speak up for yourself because you're only at 15, 16, it's hard. Like, now, everyone's the same. You'd be like, if something's not right, you say, well, hold on a minute, what's going on,
Yeah.
But at that age, it's a lot harder, especially going into a professional environment. You're like, well, have I got the right to tell him I'm not happy? You feel a bit on that level. But because Colin wasn't my coach, I was with Mickey Hazard, who you probably know is a good pro at Tottenham, and still a very, very good coach. I'll go on record personally, for me, I don't think he liked me as a person. I don't know why. Player-wise, even come training, I ended up training with Colin's age group because he was saying to me, right, come and train with me today because I've got a session that's built around you, you know. Whereas my own age group, don't get me wrong, the squad was incredible. I had Sean Scannell in there, like I said to you before, Nathaniel Klein, Victor Moses. It was that kind of group. John Bostock was in there as well. So the age group was good, but I think because I come in and I wasn't his player, if that makes sense, he kind of didn't take a shine to me. And we was training. I'm a very good trainer, always been a good trainer. If I could play how I train, I mean, flipping hell, we wouldn't have this conversation. I'd be sorting you out with a Porsche or something, you know. But it's like, I think for me personally, and I've said it to a lot of friends and my family, my dad especially, because he used to take me to all the games and stuff. It's like, we still talk about it now, to be fair, like to sort of joke about it. It's like football is almost who you know, not what you know. You know, you can have all the talent in the world, and if that one coach doesn't like you, he's making the decisions, then what's the point? You know. So yeah, for me, Palace was good. I was there for 2-3 years, but then I realised that this coach doesn't like me. He's starting players over me. Come selection for the games on a Saturday, it was either you're playing for the under-16s when you should be playing under-18s. You know, it was kind of that. And I was like, no, this isn't for me. They offered me a non-contract at the end of my scholarship, so I would still be able to train full-time, but without the pay. And I was like, well, I'm nearly 18 now. I need to do something properly. This isn't right. But again, I think your question in terms of when do you think it's time to give up, I think it's different now also because the platforms that there's Instagram for one. You can showcase yourself where at my age you never had anything like that. You know what I mean? People uploading pictures of themselves doing kick-ups, free kicks, and you got all these hashtags and digital stuff now where I think if I had that now with the technical level that I've got, you'd be showcased a lot more than I was on a personal level. That's what I feel, and I've mentioned it before. I think there's a lot more opportunities now for players. There's a lot more systems where if you drop out of an academy because of the mental health, such a big thing now, which is good. Don't get me wrong. It's like you've got support away from the professional game. There's always like other academies that pick up dropouts as such, and they still coach you, educate you. You still play games. You're still in that environment. So your dream isn't, you're not giving up straight away. As soon as you leave a pro club, it's not like, oh, what am I going to do? Like I've got nothing to do now. Do you know what I mean? And the lower league levels has improved massively. The standard's very high. I don't think there's a lot of difference between conference and League One other than maybe fitness, financial backing, fans maybe. But other than that, talent-wise, we've seen it with players moving from conference to play Prem. You know, there's so many names now. But I think when you know it's time to give up, for me personally, I think the Palace thing knocked me a big bit. And then being not physically the biggest, going into non-league, playing for Dartford, playing for Dulwich, playing for like Corinthian, them sort of teams, you know, it was still hit and miss.
Yeah, you know, especially in like that generation, and it was literally about you to be like a Vieira, like you to be tall, strong, quick,
literally,
for like people to even notice you.
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's a good point.
And, you know, and literally they just, and again, you know, I just want to say, like, personally, they literally let you slip through the net. You should be playing for England. I swear down to you. Like, with like your ability, like they've literally let you slip.
Yeah, I think, like I say, I appreciate your enthusiasm for me. I mean, you should have been my coach. I would have been all right. Do you know what I mean? But that's what it is. Do you know what I'm saying? It's opinion. Football's opinion. So if you was a coach and you was at that level and you knew me and you liked me, you had faith in me, you'd play me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that reflects in the way you'd play. But for me, like I say, the whole Palace thing, it was just weird. It was like I would train, like I say, and I would train very well. And he even say to me, like, top trainer, brilliant, blah, blah, blah. You're thinking, cool, come Saturday, I'm playing, you know, you should be involved. He'd announced the team. I think we trained on a Thursday evening in the dome thing. And he would just call out the names. Obviously, he had to arrange transport and parents to drive you because he was still young. And he was just, my name was never, ever read out. Like, never. Yeah. And I'll just go home and think, like, I'll go back to Colin and say, Colin, like, what's the problem? Like, is it me? He's like, it can't be you because I'm the one that brought you in. So I think when you get older, you understand more, even on a business level. Sometimes it's just about you as a person, not what you're offering. If they like you, you got more of a chance than, say, someone that's going to be better than you or not. But also at the time, it did help being bigger, fitter, stronger, more physical, because like you say, you're being noticed straight away. You go watch a game. I think we played Ipswich one time away, and there's guys there like 6 foot, they're like 14. You're thinking, well, how are you going to compete against them? Technically, yes, 100%, but even then, you're not given the opportunity because they want to match like for like, you know.
Yeah.
So it is tough. I think personally, you just gotta have a coach that likes you. I was very unlucky, I think, with football in that sense. I had one guy that liked me, which was Colin. Played a lot of good football with him. And then I've never really had a manager that's kind of had that same enthusiasm as he has since, you know. And for me, that's kind of what's killed me in terms of where I think I could have been or should have been to what you're kind of currently doing now, you know.
It's a foul for us, not given, and Guardie's absolutely fuming.
How's it not a foul? What has the defender done wrong? Ask the question. What has the defender done wrong? He's trying to run through it. How's it a foul if he ran into it? Stopping momentum.
I mean, hey, like, you know, I just want to say that you are like a success. You are an entrepreneur. You are an investor. Life outside of football, I mean, what kind of tips can you kind of give to anyone, and, you know, possibly even Sunday League players, or literally anyone that's got just a bit of money? Like, what advice can you kind of say to those people in terms of what to invest in, what they should do, or literally if they have an inkling of like business or kind of entrepreneurship, like what's the kind of few like tips that you can kind of give those people out there?
Yeah, I think obviously everyone's circumstance is different, everyone's mentality is different. You might come from one, you might be born into a business. Your parents might have a business, and you know, right, worst case scenario, I'm going to work for them, or I am working for them. To do something for yourself, it's kind of like, you can go back to the sacrifice question. There's a lot of people now that, again, going back to more platforms, there's so many more platforms that you can make money from. Obviously, everyone's now into like cryptocurrency and all this sort of stuff where you can research it and take it serious and trade and stuff like that. But obviously, it's very risky. Don't get me wrong. But there's, what I'm saying is, there's lots of avenues now where you can pick up a few pound here, money there. Do you know what I mean? It's not that hard compared to, maybe, no disrespect, but your time where there was nothing. Do you know what I mean? There's no platforms like that. It's so easy to access, you know?
100%. Definitely.
I think in terms of, especially like, again, with COVID, the last 18 months, it's shown people that, one, you need to have some form of savings or a plan B. I mean, I'm not going to go too deep into all of that stuff because it's just boring, but it will just show you that you need to invest. Like I say, the idea of it is property for me is the way forward. You never lose in bricks and mortar. You know, I know it's not easy because obviously you've got the stamp duty, you've got the initial deposit, you've got insurances, you've got brokers' fees, you've got loads of stuff, and you've got to show where your income's coming from. You've got to pay your taxes. You've got 3 years worth of accounts if you're self-employed. So it's not. Some people think, oh, I've got 20 grand. Let me put a 10% deposit down on a property. After my mortgage, I'm going to get, I don't know, 50, 250 pound, 300 pound a month. It's not like that. You've got to show earnings. You can't just say, right, yeah, I've got cash from somewhere. You've been wheeler dealing and you've got money sitting under the mattress. It's not like that. You've got to do it properly. So it's all set up. It's established. You know, you're getting the rent-ins, covering your own bills. Somebody else is paying your mortgage, you know. That's the aim of the game for me. But it could be anything. It could be like stock that I buy. Could be, there's money to be made in anything if you've got the brain and the mindset and the skill set to do so. There's no excuse really, you know. Yeah. So it's it's not all about football. Sometimes even the footballers now, a lot of them they got a lot of other things going on. You know, obviously with the YouTube stuff now, which is massive anyway. Again, wasn't around at the time maybe, but it is now. You got clothing ranges, you got flipping property portfolios again. You've got loads of other businesses like alcohol people bringing out. It's just loads, you know. I think because of the platform, again, Instagram is such a big pedestal. It's like you see it and think, oh, why can't I do it? And it encourages people to go and do it, like making trainers and clothes and whatever else. So I think football, for some people, obviously, again, going back to like the top 2 tiers, maybe it pays a way for you to create a life that you maybe want after football. But there's no excuse for people in our areas and cultures to not have that initial lump sum to say, right, here's a kickstart. You know, not everyone's got that. I know I never had that, but there's no excuse. You want to strive for better, but yeah, you got to put the work in, make it work. Don't be stupid with it. Obviously, don't go crooky and do stupidness. But when you get to a certain age, you understand, right, it's not about buying stupid cars and going out on a Saturday night, buying bottles and tables in Ibiza. It's like, cool, you can do that once you've got to where you want to be, then you can enjoy yourself. Like I said, you did for the 1 or 2 nights, and I know you can still pay your mortgage coming into the month. You know, you've not spent your mortgage money. Just that's how it should be, you know?
Yeah, 100%. No, it's true. Love that. And again, if like people want to find you, like what's your kind of Instagram?
I think it's guards_8. I'm not sure. It's either Guardie or guards. Something.
Yeah, I think it's guards.
Yeah, I tried to change it, but it kept coming up. Someone's already got that username, so I was fuming. So I think it's guards or Guardie_8 or something like that. Yeah, it's not there's not loads of content on there, but I'll say hopefully me and you we're gonna work on some stuff and get some stuff posted. So yeah.
Yeah,
should be good. Yeah,
100%. And again, honestly, guys, like, thank you so much for like just kind of being like a positive person. You know what I mean? And just kind of taking kind of time out of like your like day to actually talk to me. Actually, one more question: crook in, crook out.
I always say crook out, but it's just that's just a thing between me and him. I've never said crook in. He messes up too much, especially with kits. Kits always clashing. But, yeah, crook out.
Oh, funny. Great stuff.